Hi guys, welcome to the LCI Academy discussion of the CIMA February 2019 Management Case Study Pre-Scene. My name is Hashan Madushanka and I'm the co-founder and the lead tutor of LCI Academy. So we at LCI Academy, we provide complete study packages for CIMA operational and management case studies, as well as one-on-one tutor support for all the OTQ subjects. So you can check it out at www.lciacademy.com. So speaking a little bit about myself, I have tutored students globally for all the management case study sessions so far since 2015 March, and I have produced exceptional results globally, as well as a few prize winners from countries such as Sri Lanka, India, Botswana, and so on. So before I begin the discussion of the pre-scene, I would request you to have three things with you. Now, unlike other study providers videos, I don't annotate the pre-scene. I don't make notes on the pre-scene itself, because I believe that's a job that you have to do, because you're the one facing the exam at the end of the day, and whatever I explain, it would be extremely useful if you write it down in your own words. It would be super helpful to you when you're revising the pre-scene. So I would like you to have yourself a hard copy of the pre-scene, number 2 a notepad, and number 3 a pen. So if you don't have these at the moment, please pause this video and arrange it and then start the video again. So I believe you have these three items next to you. So whenever I am explaining through the pre-scene, I will be underlining certain important terms. So I want you to do the same in your hard copy of the pre-scene. And whenever I make important discussions, whenever I make important points, please write it down in the pre-scene, or if you don't have space in the pre-scene, you can use your notepad. But make sure whatever you write in the notepad, you make appropriate reference to the page number of the pre-scene, so that when you are revising later on, you will not be confused with which point is in which page. So make sure you do the arrangement correctly, so that things will be in an orderly manner. Okay, so let's move on. Looking at the logo of the company, it goes as Crowncare, so definitely the shape of a tooth, and there is a part in our tooth named the crown, so this has to be something relevant to dentistry, as you see over here. So the contents of the pre-scene are given. It has 22 plus pages, which is generally the norm of the pre-scene given for MCS. So as you see, we have introduction, we have history of the company, different groups, training, and so on. So looking at the first page, the introduction page of the pre-scene, Crowncare. So let me go ahead and highlight this. Crowncare is an unquoted company that operates 30 dental practices in capital city and its surrounding towns. Capital city is the largest city in Varensia and has a population of 2 million. Okay, so few points to discuss before we move on to the second paragraph. So we see that this is an unquoted company. Okay, so possibly it is a private limited company. So now when thinking about how this will affect the areas that you have to study, there are certain areas that are not applicable for a unlisted company. For example, if you look at certain accounting standards like IFRS 8 operating segments, and to a certain extent maybe consolidation, right? And also if you look at an area like corporate governance, those are mainly applicable for a listed company. But please don't do the mistake of leaving aside those areas thinking it won't be tested, because your examiner is well known for throwing out surprises for you. So for example, if the first question in your variant says that now we are a listed company, right, we went public in order to raise more finance, then you will be in trouble if you had not revised these particular areas. So bottom line, leave nothing out, right? So you need to be thorough with all three subjects, P2, E2 and F2, and you cannot exactly judge the areas that are that may not be tested looking at the pre-scene. Now definitely you can predict the areas that can be tested, or the highly frequent, highly possible areas you can definitely predict, and I actually encourage you to do that because it will get you to think about the different possibilities you can be tested on. However, please don't do the mistake of missing out on certain areas. Okay, so it's an unquoted company, so probably they have grown organically, and it's a limited amount of shareholders that has put money, and it operates 30 dental practices. Now generally having 30 practices is somewhat significant, right? So we are looking at a somewhat large practice. Right, now looking at dental practices, now if you look at this industry, it is important that you do some research into this industry. Now we have simplified this thing for you, and we have prepared a certain document called the industry analysis for management case study, and our team has done extensive research and compiled all relevant information important for you for the MCS on this industry. So you can check out our industry analysis, which will be useful to you. However, do bear in mind that industrial knowledge is not extremely important. Right, now definitely it will complement your knowledge to a certain extent, because having knowledge about how a real world dental practice operates will be useful, especially in terms of people management and processes and so on. But it doesn't exactly draw the line between you passing and failing, because there are many students who have not done much research on industry analysis, but still they have got through the exam well. So looking at a dentistry or the dental practice, there are many areas in E2, P2 and F2 that we can relate to. So some of the critical success factors in these companies would be the safety of the operations that are carried out, right? Because we are dealing with the human body, and a very critical part of the human body, which is the mouth. So we know that gums and so on, different parts of the mouth, they have so many nerve endings, and you need to be very careful. And of course there are certain operations relevant to teeth that can be quite painful, right? So we have to be very safe in our processes. That would mean hiring qualified dentists and making sure that they undergo continuous professional development. And then also we have to use safe equipment. We have to clean them time to time in regular time intervals, or even more frequently than the recommended one. And the support staff and the nursing team also has to be properly trained. Okay, so these all fall into prevention cost of quality management, and also having inspections on the equipment falls into appraisal cost. So that would be important. And we also have to look at compliance, right? We have to prepare a formal policy within our company in almost every process, because having a policy will be very useful to the employees, because they'll know what exactly they have to do. And even when you have new employees coming into the organization, the induction process will be easier if we have a compliance statement. And also remember that it is a service industry, right? So if you are analyzing this, it will be according to the 7 P's of marketing, although it is not exactly tested in the management level. But nevertheless, it's a useful analysis tool that can be connected into other areas in your syllabus, the subjects. So generally, a service industry could enjoy higher margins, higher gross profit margins, and it's a generally known fact that dental care can be quite expensive, and patients end up paying a very high amount. Now, there are certain dental services that may be done with disposable income. For example, having to clean your teeth, or if you're not happy with the shape of your teeth, you can adjust them, and you can do things like that for cosmetic purposes. But if you are suffering with a severe toothache, and your teeth is kind of damaged and so on, then it would be a need rather than a want to obtain dental care and get the problem fixed, right? So there is a mix of elastic and inelastic demand in this case, and it also depends on the level of competition that they face. And in certain countries, the government provides healthcare to people who want to obtain dental care. So let's read through the pre-scene and let's later find out whether that is happening. Now, another important aspect would be the people management aspect, because dentists are generally skilled people who may not like to be bossed around too much, right? So you need to get them involved in the process of planning and implementing. So it's important to manage relationships between these different groups of people, which is an essential part of your E2. Then we should also be updated with technological changes. Right now, dental care has been around for a very long time, and over time it has evolved. There have been many additions in the industry that have been inculcated into the operations. So it is important for us to keep a close eye on how things are working around in the industry, not only within our country but within all the other countries, right? There might be countries that are more developed than ours, which may have advanced processes with regards to dental care. We should also look at countries less developed than us, because they may also have superior technology that we may not be thorough with. So continuously training our employees on new developments is essential in order to gain competitive advantage. So we see that capital city is the largest city in Varensia. Now, I'm not sure whether I'm getting the pronunciation correct, but it really doesn't matter. Please remember that Varensia is it's a purely hypothetical, or it's a purely made up country. It's not a real country, it's imaginary. So please don't do the mistake of extensive researching on what real world company is this corresponding to. Now, that's a mistake that I see in many students, especially I'm a part of many WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups where students have discussions. I see many students discussing or asking each other, what company is this relevant to, what country is this relevant to. Maybe you can coincidentally find out a company or a country that this bears resemblance to, but your examiner has made it very clear that these are imaginary companies and countries. Right now, it's definitely useful to research on companies with a model similar to this, but don't expect the exam to be based on that real world company, right? Because I see many students giving their opinion saying, this sort of a thing has happened recently in this company, so we will definitely be tested on it at the exam. Let's get prepared for that. Now, getting prepared for multiple scenarios is fine, but if you are restricted to only those scenarios, that's the issue, right? So let me remind you the golden rule again. Never miss out on any area from P2, E2 and F2. If you do that, you might regret, because you'll never know what you can be tested on, right? So this has a population of 2 million people in capital city. Now, generally dental care is something that is obtained by almost everyone. Okay, so this entire 2 million can possibly be regarded as the market size, right? The size of potential customers who would obtain our services. So in order to measure our market share, we can take a look at how many customers or how much of revenue it brings in. Varensia is a developed country with a relatively high standard of living. Right now, being a developed country, we generally know that people have a high level of disposable income. because they will have high income levels, and once they spend on their necessities, they will have a certain amount of money that can be used for wants, like holidays and so on. So having high quality dental care can be possible with this, right? And relatively high standard of living would also refer to the fact that they are very concerned about their health. Right? We know that there are countries with poor standard of living, and there are so many different epidemics and diseases. They may not be highly concerned about their oral health because there are other issues that are more prominent, like for example getting your food on the table every day, right? But in this country, it seems like food is a very basic need which can be easily satisfied. Now this will also open up opportunities for extra services that I spoke about earlier from dentists, like example changing the shape of your teeth if you are not very happy with it, right? Filling out gaps in the teeth. So these are not exactly things that you have to do in order to maintain your health, but it may simply be because you want to look better, right? You want to have a better smile and so on. The population is well educated and aware of the need to maintain good health, right? So that's another plus point for us. Generally, when people are well educated, their school level education will take them through the importance of oral care. So this will inculcate in their mind from young days itself that it is important to visit the dentist regularly and make sure that all the relevant treatments are done, the routine treatments are done. So this level of education and the economy of this area sets the background for our company Crowncare to generate sales and more customers. The rate of unemployment is generally low, and the Valencian government provides extensive health care paid for through taxes, right? So unemployment is low, so that is one sign of a developed economy. Now this may be there may be a possibility that the pay rates are quite high, right? Generally when unemployment is low, that is due to the availability of jobs. So maybe the job market is such that people can demand for higher salaries. So generally when unemployment exists, you may be ready to work even at a rate lower than the ongoing market rate, just because you want to get a job somehow. So this may result in the increase of costs for us, for dentists and other staff members. And we also see that the Valencian government provides extensive healthcare paid for through taxes, right? So there are certain countries in the world where people have to uh, you know pay for their own treatments, but there are countries where say the public healthcare is being funded by the government through taxes, and people get services such as oral care free of charge. So the Valencian government seem to be a country like that. Valencia's currency is the V dollar. Companies are required to prepare their financial statements in accordance with IFRS. Okay, so now once again, this V dollar is an imaginary currency, and it has no resemblance with the US dollar or the Australian dollar. So don't be under the impression that all the numbers given correspond to say the US dollar, right? It's all imaginary. Now how the currency can be relevant is whenever you have a situation where there are international transactions, either we are importing something from another country, for example some machines that we need for our dental practices. If so, how do we exactly record the transaction if the payment currency or the invoicing currency is different, right? So IAS 21 will come into play, and also their financial statements are in accordance with IFRS. So everything that you learned in F2, all the standards, such as IAS 17, leases, IAS 37, provisions, so on, will be relevant to this company. Now, in preparing financial statements, you may even be required to prepare consolidated financial statements. So you need to be thorough with the different scenarios that can be tested in consolidated statements. You have fair value adjustments, step acquisitions, complex group structures, and so on. So you need to remember the accounting treatment for all of this. Now, it's not necessary for you to calculate numbers at the exam, but then again, you have to have the ability to give a complete explanation on how the treatment should be carried out, the accounting treatment, that is. And also, this company we are dealing with, Crowncare, may need certain may evaluate certain sources of finance which you have studied in F2. Okay, so you may be required to analyze the different sources and give suggestions and also help out with accounting treatments. You are a financial manager in Crowncare's head office. So that is generally the position of a candidate facing management case study, because whatever you have learnt in your P2, E2 and F2, they are in line with the roles fulfilled by a financial manager. However, that doesn't mean, just because you learn P2, E2, F2 and you pass through MCS, you can directly be a finance manager, because real world experience is totally different, right? That really counts. This is simply theory and application. So looking at the financial manager's job role, it's pretty much similar to the role of a management accountant. So there will be finance officers working under you, reporting to you, as well as finance executives. So you serve in the management level of the company on the organizational hierarchy. So you're the link between the top level and the bottom level. So you have to manage the bottom level and you have to report to the top level. And you take certain orders and suggestions by the top level, and you're the one overlooking the implementation, because we know that directors are more into planning, right, creating the strategy, and the strategy is implemented in the operational level, and you're the one who should manage or balance between these two. So speaking of a finance manager, you have a wide job role. Right now, it's not simply restricted to numbers. It's not simply restricted to P2 and F2. You do have to liaise with other colleagues. You do have to deal with other stakeholders. Right? Your input on the strategy of the company is important. Right? Your input on analysis aspects of the company will also be relevant. You will have to have some knowledge on health and safety procedures and disciplinary procedures, HR related aspects. So this is why you have E2 related areas tested in your exam as well, because you have to have a balanced knowledge across all the different functions, although the main your main forte should be of P2 and F2. So your primary responsibilities are associated with management accounting, so that is mainly with P2. You report to the senior financial manager, who reports directly to the finance director. Right, so looking at management accounting, looking at P2, if you look at the areas we can connect to, costing would be a very important part. Right now, dental care, dental services would generally vary from one person to another. Okay, so it could be customized to a certain extent, but there are certain aspects of the procedure that are standard in nature. For example, if it's a routine checkup, there might be a standard amount of time, let's say for example 10 minutes, and there might be a standard set of things that you do during these 10 minutes, right? So it will be more of a standard product, which makes it easier to cost and come up with a standard cost card. But there are certain complicated operations where a patient might be suffering with a unique issue, right? Then you'll have to deal with it on an ad hoc basis. So the costing aspect need to be clear. So we need to use a proper costing system. Maybe look at the possibility of going with activity-based costing. Now we don't know for sure, because there are some conditions that have to be satisfied for us to start using activity-based costing. So we need to find out for information in the pre-scene if it's available. And also there are aspects relevant to investment appraisal, which is very important for any business. So we will be possibly expanding into more dental practices in future. So before opening up a new dental practice, it may be possible that they are conducting an investment appraisal, right? So they'll be forecasting all the revenue and expenses that can be made from this particular practice. We may also be conducting investment appraisal methods for, let's say, purchase of some new machines and so on. We could be looking at introducing a new service, okay, and even in future maybe expand to another city outside capital city. So all of these can be possible. And also performance evaluation is a very important part of P2. So we need to be thorough with the different measures we can use for each staff member, right? So for dentists there might be certain measures, for nurses there might be certain measures. So we need to have the ability to evaluate to what extent these evaluation or performance measurement and reward schemes are appropriate, and we should be able to recommend if those are not in line with what should happen. Then risk and uncertainty, risk management are also important. Risk management, especially as I explained in the start, there are many instances where things go wrong and the reputational risk can be quite significant. So we need to manage that carefully. Right, so we spoke a lot about the different areas that we can connect Crowncare into simply from these 4 paragraphs. So let's move forward and look at some information pertaining to the company. Now these initial couple of pages have a lot of technical information. I will not go into in depth into these, because remember that you are studying for a management qualification and not exactly a dental qualification for that matter. So it's not necessary for you to know how to, the different areas in a tooth rather, and the different procedures that are being fulfilled, the technical aspects that you don't have to know. But the key themes of the pre-scene is what you need to keep in mind, the certain issues, the strengths and so on. So reading through, dentistry is a branch of medicine that is devoted to prevention of diseases in the mouth and jaw. Dentistry is primarily associated with treatment of damaged and diseased teeth and gums. Bacteria in the mouth produce acids that can cause teeth to decay. Bacteria can also harm the gums, causing gum disease. Dentistry encompasses a range of professional disciplines associated with improving dental health. So it's not simply treating damaged and diseased teeth, but also maybe checking up on your teeth. So from an individual perspective, checking up on your teeth goes as an appraisal cost, but if some of your teeth are damaged and diseased, then it will be a failure cost. Making sure you brush 2 to 3 times a day and making sure you cut down on sugary foods and so on, those are prevention costs. So I'm looking at this from an individual perspective and not from a company perspective, right? Children are born without teeth. They grow a temporary set of 20 teeth between the ages of 6 months and 3 years. Those teeth remain in place until they are replaced by a permanent set of 32 adult teeth. Right now, when you're a kid, when these 20 teeth grows, it can be a little painful that it comes right out of the gum. The tooth comprises a hard outer layer of enamel, a softer inner core of dentine, and sensitive inner pulp containing blood vessels and nerves. Right, so this is why uh, when you strike a blow on your teeth, or when they're going to remove a teeth, it can be really painful because it's connected to the nerves, and it's this enamel that protects the quality of the tooth. Teeth are held in place by gums, and so good oral health relies on the condition of both the teeth and the gums. Right, so there are so many gum related diseases also that you can suffer from. The crown is the section of tooth above the gum line. So you are being demonstrated where this is by a sample. The root is below the gum line. The root canal carries nerves and blood vessels into the body. So root canal is something that most people even fear to hear, because root canal related operations can be really painful. Okay. Bacteria in the mouth react with food to create acid that can erode the enamel and cause it to decay. If left untreated, the erosion can create cavities, sometimes called caries, in the enamel. Once the enamel has been breached, the acid will erode the dentine very quickly. If the cavity reaches the pulp, then the nerves will be stimulated, causing toothache. So this is what routine checkups will check. Right, to what extent is the enamel in place, or is it about to be breached? Right, so generally dentists are able to give us information in foresight, looking at the current state of our teeth. Bacteria can also accumulate in the gums, particularly if food works its way into the gum line, where the crown of the tooth meets the gum. The gum can become infected, which can lead to loose teeth that may have to be removed in extreme cases. Right? So removing teeth can be very painful to your mouth and also to your pocket. It can be quite expensive, especially if you have to replace the teeth. It can be even more expensive because these artificial teeth or dentures can cost a lot of money, especially if you are not insured. Good oral hygiene is the key to preserving both teeth and gums. The abrasive action of brushing teeth with toothpaste removes the plaque created by bacteria. Toothpaste is alkaline, so it neutralizes the acid in the mouth. Toothpaste also contains fluoride, which is both antibacterial and can bond to the enamel to repair some of the damage caused by erosion. Brushing also stimulates blood flow to the gums and removes food and bacteria, and so reduce the risk of gum disease. So we see that many dental operations, they take the effort to make people aware about the benefits of brushing, right? So they will even carry out certain campaigns making the public aware, and also they make sure that the patients that visit them or the customers that visit them are well educated on such good practices. Teeth can break because of wear and tear, right? So with age also this can happen. The human jaw can exert a great deal of pressure when biting or chewing, and teeth can become damaged or broken. Okay, so that's why it's recommended not to bite on very hard food. Food containing hard items such as seeds can increase the risk of breakage. Dentistry generally focuses on prevention. Regular checks can identify problems before they become serious. For example, small cavities, right? So cavities refer to small holes, can be filled more easily with less risk of damaging the tooth in the process. Patients can also be given specific advice on ways in which their oral hygiene can be improved. Right, so it creates a particular service here, because advising them on good practice can be a different product, right? So for example, if I am curious to know the good things that I have to do, or the things that I have to do to preserve my teeth, first I might consider taking a particular checkup, and if the checkup shows that I am developing certain issues, then maybe the dentist can advise me on what exactly I need to do. So that is also billable to a certain extent. Now, as we read along, we see that there are different terms given for the different services offered. Dentistry can also have a cosmetic aspect. So it's not essential, but just to increase your looks. If desired, dentists can straighten crooked teeth or make teeth whiter. Now, straightening crooked teeth can be somewhat expensive, although making the teeth whiter may not be that expensive depending on what technique is used. Patients who lose some or all of their adult teeth can be fitted with false teeth, which is generally expensive in most countries. These can take the form of removable dentures that are worn during the day to help with chewing, speaking, and to prevent the appearance of bare gums. Alternatively, bridges are dentures that are fixed in place between healthy teeth, right? Maybe to bridge gaps. Implants are dentures that have artificial roots that are implanted into the patient's jaw bones and so behave like real teeth. Now, this is very expensive to my knowledge, implants. Okay, so we went through a lot of technical aspects in the last 2 pages, and there will be some more technical aspects in the next few pages. So no need to remember all of this. Now, you are not required to remember the exact exact role of a crown, exact role of a root canal, and what is the most expensive one, right? So those are not highly essential, but just have a general understanding. More importantly, you have to understand how all of this information connects to your subject areas from P2, E2 and F2, right? So talking a little bit about what we can offer for you and how we can help you get through MCS in style. So we at LCI Academy, we offer complete study packages for students to get through management case study. So whether you are a regular CIMA student or whether you are coming through the gateway route, we will give you tailor-made advice on how you can get through the exam. So we have 3 study packages that you can consider. So the first one goes as the bronze package. In this you receive the entire video analysis of the pre-scene, right? So this is just the introductory video. So I'll be analyzing the entire pre-scene. I'll be connecting it to all the important areas. We will also be conducting a financial analysis of the statements and going in depth into the costing aspects. And throughout the videos, I'll be pointing out possible areas you can be tested on, including accounting standards and so on. So pre-scene video analysis. Apart from that, you will also receive the industrial analysis, which is a document of roughly around 30 pages where you have very important industrial information that will be useful to get some idea about the dental care industry. So that will cut out a lot of work from you because you don't have to do industrial research by yourself once you read through that. Then we offer you the strategic analysis, which analyzes the pre-scene into models such as Pester's SWOT analysis, Porter's 5 forces, Porter's value chain, and so on. And of course the Menlo matrix. Then along with that comes a ratio analysis where we'll be analyzing the financial statements and giving reasons as to why the ratios would have changed. And we will also be providing you before the mock exam, let me also talk about the workbook that we offer. We offer you a workbook with some short tasks on P2, E2 and F2 where the answers are highly related to this case study, and along with that there will be 3 exam style questions which can be practiced in the form of a mock exam. And apart from that, we offer 5 full mock exams for you, and these mock exams are again designed directly on Crowncare. So we have a good track record where many areas that we gave in our mock exams were tested at the actual exam, right? And So those are all the add-ons or all the different services that we offer, the different products that we offer in our bronze package. Then looking at the second package, the silver package includes everything that I mentioned for the bronze, and apart from that, all your answers for the mock exams will be evaluated by one of our expert markers. Now, even in the bronze package, the mock exams you can try out in our online platform, which is closely simulating the CIMA online platform for case studies. So in the silver package, all your answers will be evaluated. So if you simply go to our management case study silver product in our website, there is a sample feedback that you can see in the form of an image. So that is how you will receive feedback. So this feedback is extremely useful for you because you will know what are your strengths in answering and what are the areas that you need improvement. And our markers are CIMA qualified and they have a load of experience in marking your evaluations for the past case study sessions since 2015. And finally, we have the gold package, which includes everything in the bronze and silver, and the value addition there would be 5 hours of Skype time with a tutor, right? So I will be one of the tutors for MCS, so you can have you can schedule sessions with your tutor through Skype. So you have 5 full hours where you can break it down into slots of 30 minutes or 1 hour as per your convenience. So this tutor will help you out in improving all your weaknesses and will give you a thorough understanding about the exam technique, right? How to time and plan your answers, how you can go ahead with time management, things to avoid, simple mistakes to avoid in your answering style. And also it comes with a pass guarantee where in case you are unable to clear the exam in February, we will offer you study material in the subsequent sessions until you fully pass the exam, right? So that is a description of the different study packages we offer. You can also invest in a study material as individual products, like for example an individual mock exam or let's say just the analysis documents or the pre-seen video analysis. So you can visit www.lciacademy.com and go to the management level page, and we have provided all the information. Now we will also provide a set of free study support material that includes a mini mock exam. That's a 3-hour mock exam with 3 questions that are connected to Crowncare, so it will be a good practice for you. And we will also be uploading, releasing blog posts time to time on articles done connected to the subject with this pre-seen. Right, so with that being said, I would like to wish you all the very best for your exams in February 2019. Thank you for listening.